Crises of Humanity. References. Whilst academic books normally contain a glossary with a large volume of references at the end, I assume that for those who want to know only the outline, such references would be unnecessary. Therefore, I would like to introduce only 3 books, Japanese language version, that I have read more than 10 times, the original versions of which are listed below. I encourage readers to peruse these books as they contain important figures and information. For readers, endurance may be required to read through these thick books if you are not specialists in the domain. Having said so, as my book provides the outlines, it might not be too difficult to read through these 3 books. That is the reason why I have written this book with heart and soul. Note, I have not added detailed explanatory notes on concerned pages due to the nature of my book. It is not intended to be an academic publication. Should you have any questions, you would be able to obtain answers by reading these 3 books and/or materials that you can easily access via the internet. However, there is a wide variety of materials, including antitheses, which the academic world cannot be immune to. James Hansen, Storms of My Grandchildren, 2009, Bloomsbury Press. In 1981, Hansen's article on the risk of global warming appeared in Science. He is a harbinger of the study of global warming, and his opinions and literature have been exerting influence on international global warming conferences. He advocates that the density of carbon dioxide should be suppressed below 350 parts per million. Although global warming is one of crises of the biosphere caused by residual pollution, Hansen does not mention about the Earth's limitation, which is the root cause of the crises. I don't know the reason why. He believes that fast breeder nuclear reactors would be capable of solving the issue, whilst his idea about how to handle high-level residual radioactive waste is unclear. Donella H. Meadows, Jorgen Randers, and Dennis L. Meadows. Limits to Growth, the 30-Year Update, 2004. Chelsea Green Publishing. In this book, the future is simulated in 10 different scenarios, based on altering the input data. The book also explains the indices that exhibit the Earth's limitations, ecological footprints. Al Gore, An Inconvenient Truth, 2006, Rodale Books. Al Gore was the former Vice President of the United States of America. The comparison of pictures of the ice several decades ago versus now is very interesting. The legal battle, Gore versus Bush, with regard to the presidential election, is a noteworthy event for the Earth's environment. Special thanks. First of all, I highly appreciate you for reading this message till the end. Your interest and passion brings great joy to my heart. This manuscript is the will and the prayers to be conveyed to the succeeding generations from me and my wife. The publication of this will into an ebook was only possible with the generous support of prominent chief editor, Mr. Masahiko Botoki, the founder of the School for Editors, and the editor, Mr. Esuke Goto, as well. Mr. Hajime Sudo, who has been supporting my UNICEF activities in his capacity in Japan Airlines for many years, continuously offering his sincere advice and friendship throughout this project, to which I am truly grateful. My debate mate, Mrs. Chie Kamo, and her husband, Kosei, my Davis Cup tennis teammate, were the ones who first advised me to translate this book into English. Mrs. Sadako Ogata, former United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, who has given her recommendation message for my previous book as worth reading, offered without hesitation to recommend this new book also. Meanwhile, MD Yoshiki Hiki and his wife Sumiko, an essayist, have gone far out of their way to care for my wife's health as friends. A late senior tennis player, who was also a renowned late scholar, advised Japan Airlines to employ me. Thanks to this, I observed every time flying around the worldwide sky, the earth being badly polluted. As a result, I was given the opportunity to see the gap between the rich and the poor being widened rapidly, and to meet the children of UNICEF. These unchanging warm supports to my wife and me have given to our soul great consolation. Mr. Keisuke Hatano, my close friend and tennis mate for years, helped me in translating of this will, together with Mr. Hiroshi Kuroyanagi and his wife Margaret, my colleagues of Japan Airlines, with incredible patience. I am very grateful to all of you. I now realize that I could fortunately make my dreams come true, and that I owe many of them to those precious friends and benefactors, whom I have met through my beloved tennis life. Devoting my youth into this sport has brought me much joy and happiness to the following years. The memories of tennis and the sky are my dear and spiritual hometown. Lastly, I would like to give the heartfelt thanks to my dear wife Noriko, whom I deeply love, who is suffering from Alzheimer's. It was painful to me that she has patiently waited for me by reading my previous book while I was writing this manuscript. She must have felt lonely sometimes, and that might have worsened her symptoms to some extent. However, she brought me great joy when, sitting side by side, she told me that she loved my heart and soul. Looking back our 60 years' life, dear Noriko and I have always encouraged each other without giving up the hope, endeavoring to become the very best couple. Now there are days when we have nothing left to discuss. Instead, we enjoy each other's company, smiling in silence. Upon our passing away in the future, I wish my wife's soul and mine, in this ebook, fly across the skies of the earth, carried by the wave electrons, praying for the happiness of the generations to come. Late Autumn 2016. Kouken Okadome. About the author, Kouken Okadome. 1934, born in Fukuoka, Fukuoka Prefecture, Japan. 1956 to 1957, member of Davis Cup Tennis Japan team. B.A. Keio University. Joined Japan Airlines, herein known as JAL, as a ground staff. After 5 years, changed the status to the cockpit crew, based on a strong desire. Flight time as a captain, approximately 14,000 hours. For approximately 30 years, working for the promotion of UNICEF through JAL. Former counselor, the Japan Committee for UNICEF. Former trustee, Yume Miru Kudomo Fund, also known as the Dreaming Child Fund. 1986, climbed Mount Everest, utilizing no oxygen tanks up to 8,000 meters. Currently residing in Hokuto, Yamanashi Prefecture, surrounded by beautiful mountains. End of audiobook, Crises of Humanity.